Hi, I'm Kevin Dubois, co-founder and vice president of My Shop Assist. We created this software more than 10 years ago in order to help manage my performance shop. I have a Mitsubishi Evo specialty shop that does nothing but performance work, as long as now we do a lot of service and maintenance work on Mitsubishi Evos. But we're a strictly, niche performance market-minded shop. We have a dyno, we do engine building, used to do a lot of fabrication work, we do less of that now. But we do a lot of racing as well. And in this market, if you've ever worked in this industry, you will understand that a lot of the general maintenance software out there just doesn't work for what we need. They will offer you a lot of shop manuals and ordering parts from Napa, but for us, most everything comes from niche vendors, people who make specific parts for this car. There's very little markup on the parts, and most everything we do there are no manuals for. So you need to know how to do it yourself, and then you need to really understand what to charge for this stuff. And it can be an overwhelming task, especially for owner-operator shops who, you are the one that started the business because you're really good at tuning, and then now you're kind of shoved into the role of running the business as well. And anyway, so I've been in this boat, and I've learned the wrong way to do it, which was what I did before the software, where I had as many as 3 people working for me full-time, and we still struggled to really be profitable. And we cut that out and developed the software along the way, and now I can make as much money with just myself and my shop business partner, Richard, as we did with 3 other people. So, 5 people versus 2 people, and we do more revenue because the software has helped us track the projects better, like what parts we use, what hours we do, and all that is related to just managing a shop better. And what I'm going to show you in the software briefly over everything is just generally what the software does, and the details of every task I have separate videos for. So if you're wondering how to do something more specifically in the system, I have more detailed videos for those. But what you can see here is this is the dashboard. So each individual user will have their own login. So each employee and each manager will have their own way of logging in. And you can see we've got users here. And technicians and managers are treated differently, and they have different functionality. You can also customize all that inside the system. But when you log in, you'll have a list of jobs you need to be working on here. So this is specific to who is logged in. We have some overview of hours here, so you can see how many hours you're tracking each day, how many hours you're there at the shop. And then over on the left-hand side is going to be your kind of navigation window here. So the most important thing for my type of shop is going to be scheduling here on the calendar. So we do, dyno tuning and drop-offs. Most everything you can do is a drop-off, so it's a 1 day every day. But if you do a lot of restoration hot rod shops, they don't even need a calendar at all because everything gets dropped off for a year or more at a time. And so for those guys, it's going to be much more important to just tracking hours and tasks, less important for scheduling. But on the schedule, you can put holidays, you can put vacation days, you can move jobs around quite easily. So if you're going to be working on a car, you just slide it over. And you can unschedule stuff. We have filters and all that sort of stuff. So the calendar is quite in-depth, and I have a video on that specifically as well. The jobs board is just going to be a list of all the vehicles you have. So you've got estimates here, all the projects you're working on. You can make your own zones and how you want to organize this, and every shop does it a little bit differently. All the way down to the completed zone, which is going to be largely your archive. So everything you've finished just gets stored in there. And every one of these jobs can be moved around by grabbing dots. And again, I have a detailed video on how to operate this page. It's not that difficult to do. But if you go into a job, you just click on the name, and this is where you're going to get what you need to be doing to it. So the basis of this is going to be tasks and parts. So each task is going to be a box here, and you will have parts within that task. And you can also have parts that are just job related at the bottom here. So if this is just part of the job but not specific to a task, the parts would go down there. And each task gets a box here. If a task is completed, it will be grayed out. And every one of these tasks has a start and stop timer on it. So you can start a timer. Once you hit start, you will be able to stop the timer, and you can complete the task when it is done. If you need to add more parts to it, you can just click the Add Part button, and a window will pop up for you to add parts to that job. If you need to add more tasks to this job, you just click Add Task, and that window will slide in as well. So the gist of it is you're going to be taking a vehicle in, telling working with the customer, figuring out what you need to do to it, and making those tasks, kind of breaking down the work you're going to be doing. And I get that like a general repair shop will already know, like, hey, I'm doing a water pump on an 84 Civic, or I need to do new brakes on a 2020 Silverado, so they're going to have those manuals and they're going to tell you how long it's going to take. But when you're doing performance work, like, doing a custom engine build on a Mitsubishi Evo here, that is a lot different than just throwing together a factory short block, right? In fact, most people don't even do that. They just buy the long block and put it in the car. That's kind of the way the industry has gone, just part slapping everything. But when you are custom building something, all this takes time, and you got different machining steps, and you've got, polishing the crank and balancing everything, and you can even put in your blueprints in here. So you can put descriptions with fields, you can do checklists. So all this sort of stuff is possible within this system, and it allows you to really customize what you do at your shop and put it into the system and make it repeatable. And that's where a lot of the value comes in, being able to repeat specific things. And if you don't do repeated work, if you are a restoration shop or something that is doing very unique stuff every time, or a fab shop, then it enables you to track the hours that you're doing. So you have the ability to start and stop timer all day, every day, and we break that down by who did it, when they did it, and you can date range filter all this stuff. So you have the ability to really like drill down in what you're doing for it. So that's just like the very basics of what a task or what a job is for. So obviously also inside of a job, you have comments. This is going to be like the stories, your technician's story of what they're doing. Super important for custom work, larger projects, very important to track that sort of stuff. So that way, hey, on Monday we, took the door off and started sanding it down. On Tuesday we started priming it for paint, and on Wednesday we painted it. You can put all those notes in your comments. You can take photos and upload as many pictures or files as you need. So a lot of restoration shops will store hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures on a single job. When a job is, many hundreds of thousands of dollars, the customer really wants to see what you're doing to it. And this allows you to document that and store it all in this job really easily. Additionally, everybody working together collaborates on this one job. You will notice that this is kind of unique, but we do have the ability, all our sites are live. So if one person makes a change at your shop, all the other people at the shop will see that update immediately and automatically without having to hit the refresh button. Okay, so also inside of here, we do have the photo repository. So this is where all your pictures get kind of aggregated together in one here for this job. And you can download it and send it to the customer if needed. This chat function is new for us. It does allow you to text message with your customers, and you can message with your people internally at your shop, or you can even message us at MSA as a tech support option. So you have the MSA logo. You can send us questions if you need help with anything. We do have a video as well on how to use the chat function if you need it. In addition to this, is what we call the job view, where you're actually working the job. You can assign everything to different people by clicking any of the logos here, the avatars. Those change anywhere you can see them. You can change who needs to be doing the work. If you want to see the work order view, this is where you're going to be handling the accounting side of it, the billing of it. If you just click work order up on the top, it shows you the actual job as a invoice. If you scroll down to the bottom, it will give you a total, and you can track payments as well on here. And then at the very, very bottom, we do authorizations, so digital signatures for everything. To track payments, you just click, or to track authorizations, you just click Actions, Request Authorization, and there are a few different options. We have a video on that as well for doing the work order views. But the gist of this is you're just going to be using this for tracking payments, understanding what is owed, and you can do the authorizations. If you're a restoration hot rod shop or a very large project shop that do progress billing, and what I mean by that is if you take payments every 2 months or every 2 weeks, every month for a customer, rather than trying to do it all lump sum at the end or all at the beginning, you can do date range filtering here. So if you do a start and end date and hit the filter button, it will show you only the work that you performed within that date range. And it enables you to take that invoice and take payment on a section of the job, and you can export it to QuickBooks if you need. And so all these, the full job or even the date range filtered stuff, you can export to both QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online. It does integrate very well with QuickBooks Online in that you can sync them together immediately. So you can do updates to jobs, you can do new jobs as like a date range filtered job as an invoice in QuickBooks. and it will do the payments as well. And all that is done just by clicking the export button here. And it will give you a list of all the times you've exported it, and it will break you down by what was exported and if it succeeded or not. And then the last part of this whole thing is if you're tracking hours and you're tracking parts on everything, the reports are really where you're going to make your money with a shop management system like this. It's super important to understand your metrics and who's being efficient or not. So we have an employee service report. It's probably the most useful report you can get out of this, is understanding how many hours somebody worked a day and how many hours they were there. So we have a time clock at the top, and we have individual timers, and it tracks them all together, and it will give you an efficiency depending on how many hours you're there versus how many hours you have on task. And you can track that with everybody you've got, so you can see what hours they're working. And it just enables you to keep tabs of what's being done and who's correctly tracking hours for you. We also do have task reports. So this is how you really understand what to be charging for stuff. So if you are doing a lot of stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 packages, every time you do one of those, if you track hours on it, it will show you the actual versus what you estimate, and then it'll give you an average if you've done it more than once. And that's when you really want to be able to see if you're charging the correct amount for that individual service. And so that's kind of a gist of it. I do have another video coming out with the reports here that will show you how everything works here. But the gist of it is it's just a management system for all the projects you have at the shop, whether they be cars, engines, transmissions. Maybe you don't even do any of that stuff. Maybe you do gun repair, or maybe you're doing, remodeling in a house. It can track anything service related, so it doesn't have to be your make model. We just do offer that as kind of the core of what we did, but it is a toggleable function. If you don't want to track your make model, you can just use job titles. But just tracking time, parts, taking payments, exporting to QuickBooks for your accounting, and then giving you the reports to see where you need to improve. And that's kind of it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We have the phone number listed on the website. Also, you can just email me at kevin@myshopassist.com. All right, thanks, and have a good day.